Because if you keep fighting it, it's gonna come back in it. Because
Right,
you can't
right,
have, how
right.
can you have good without evil without good? It's kind of, do you know what I mean? One will never should can't really ever defeat the other permanently. And I think even if you read
Right,
things like
right,
the
right, right,
Bible
right.
and that, I think you get that because even, all right, you see like Genesis, yeah,
Hmm.
it's talking about, oh, in the beginning of the Nephilim, and then the serpent was cast down, and hell was on earth, and then he got
Right.
cast, the watchers got cast down, and then even with Revelation, it's like saying, then he's gonna be cast down into a lake of fire. But then
Right.
that's not destruction. It means you be cast down and chained again, which is actually what happened in the beginning in the first place, if you think
So
about it.
yeah, no doubt. All of those stories again are representative of a story that's taking place inside of you, right? Where this whole concept of upper and lower, good and bad, negative and positive came from is if we follow the scientific understanding of negative and positive, we understand that we're dealing with polarities. We're not necessarily dealing with good or bad, right?
Mm,
And so what this is speaking to is a well-known ancient understanding that, remember I spoke about love, the law of vibrational energy. Everything
yeah.
in this existence vibrates. Depending on the speed of its atomic vibration
Mm,
will delineate its level of physical form. So everybody's vibrating, but that which distinguishes that from that is just the speed in
mm,
which you're vibrating at, right? And so when you're dealing with higher, you're really speaking to the faster, right? A faster speed of vibration, which gives you more of an etheric thing, right? The slower the vibration, the more dense it becomes, the more physical it becomes, right? The more it becomes in form, physical form. And so to the ancient mind, what they was delineating between was that which is vibrating slower, which gives you the physical form, which would be our physical world. That would be in indigenous thought, hell. You just mentioned that in the they said that where was Satan cast?
down
Man
to
was
earth.
cast to earth. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? Earth, right? And that's even if we're following the concept that Satan is bad. We can get into that later down the line. That's a whole another concept that goes into a different school of thought that's speaking to a greater truth. The same way darkness gave birth to light and chaos gave birth to order, and darkness is chaos is being demonized.
Mm,
You follow that train of thought, you understand, oh, Satan, Lucifer. In fact, the word Lucifer means light bearer. We know this.
mm,
And everything you hear on the spiritual path is what? Love and light. Love
mm,
and light. Love and light. Love and light. We're trying to attain light and gain light. Hence, you're trying to become the Lucifer. If you're looking at it from that perspective, you understand what
mm,
I'm saying? This understanding is now transmuted on a on a heart level. So Christ and Lucifer would represent the same thing, just different polarities,
mm.
depending on where you're looking. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
to go back to what I was saying, that the slower the energy, the more dense that energy appears to be, right? And in the indigenous thought process, more namely, let's say Gnosticism, speaks to the fact that this creation, this physical creation, we like to worship on many levels. I'm not just talking about on a materialistic perspective, which we often speak about, right? Just the mere fact that you, and it sounds crazy, but the mere fact that you love your physical existence is a form of enslavement in in certain mystery schools. Do you
Mm,
understand what I'm saying, right? And that's speaking to the understanding that if you are a spiritual being, right, having a human experience, and we know that the human is limited by its nature, then taking that which is unlimited and reducing it to it being limited would be a form of hell. If I was to take your unlimited freedom away from you and place you in a cage, You're now imprisoned. You understand what I'm saying? And so there's certain mystery schools that saw this place as an imprisonment that you need to break free from. Oh, it's a different ball game. It's not necessarily demonizing or looking at anything negative. It's just placing the understanding that, oh, my journey is back to the divine oneness, to the unlimited potential.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? And so, therefore, this experience, which is an experience which we say is nothing to glorify, nothing to hang on to, nothing to worship, nothing to, I mean, you get this whole notion of, loving life, you know, love nature, which we understand it to a certain degree, right? You go in nature, there's as much things in nature to kill you. You know what I mean? You just go try to live in nature for a week and then come back and screaming, yeah, that nature shit is all well and dandy. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You be
go
fucked up.
go to India, go to it and try spot a wild Bengali tiger.
You know what I mean? Like so we know there's levels to this. We
Yeah.
know there's levels to this. Nature isn't good or bad. It's neutral. If we're gonna learn anything from it, it's the neutrality of it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because you know, on one level we say, nature's divine and all of this thing here. And then on another level, we go into nature and we see the absolute brutality. A lion
Mm.
ripping up a baby zebra like nothing. And we say, oh, look at nature. Ain't it divine? That's divine order. Do you understand what I'm saying? Well, if that's the case, you have to apply that same understanding on multiple levels. And that's where it gets a bit spooky for some people. Because now if we're saying that everything is one, then you can no longer demonize the other. How do you demonize the murderer? Hear me now. How do you demonize the murderer or even the rapist if we're saying everything is one? See, this is now going into a realm that if you haven't necessarily integrated your own duality, it's gonna you be set to be confused. This is not about accepting anything. We're not accepting any behaviors here. Don't get it
Mm.
twisted. We know the difference between relative understanding and a cosmic understanding. Make a rapist or may murderer come around me or my family. It's on I'm
Mm.
popping. You understand
Mm.
what I'm saying? But
Mm.
cosmically, we're dealing with a whole never dimension. And we spoke about the feminine principle before, and just to kind of mention it again, because there's this idea that the feminine is this motherly, loving energy. Oh, yeah, 100%. It definitely is that. But it's also the most ferocious form of energy you would ever experience. Oh, best believe me. If you approach the great feminine or the divine mother as someone who you think you are, oh, you're getting devoured. Oh, best
Mm.
believe. In fact, that's what the Kali symbolization represents. You always see Kali
Mm.
holding chopped heads in her arms. These heads represent humanity, i.e., your conscious thought or human thought, i.e., your ego based consciousness. Shiva represents pure consciousness. And if you ever see Shiva with Kali, Shiva's on the floor chilling. He's got his head behind his arms and
Mm.
chilling, just being the observer. He ain't being the participant. Do you understand what I'm saying? So these are archetypes that are speaking to a greater truth, and that feminine archetype is is holistic. It's holistic. In fact, on a cosmic level, the great feminine or the great mother represents the black hole. The black hole. And the black hole does what? It absorbs light, it eats light, it consumes light. It
Mm.
consumes all forms of energy or all forms. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so this physical form that we're holding on to, when you approach the great mother, collapses. You can't go as an individual. You have to go as the I am. Otherwise, you ain't going nowhere. You're gonna have a hard time. You understand what I'm saying? A real hard time. And that's another